Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a major development in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. A key bridge located inside Russian territory has reportedly been hit in a recent strike linked to Ukrainian forces, and the incident is drawing worldwide attention. This bridge wasn't just another piece of infrastructure. It was a critical route used for military supplies, troop movement, and logistics. Its damage has the potential to disrupt operations on the ground and spark further escalation. In this video, we'll break down what happened, why this bridge matters so much, how both sides are reacting, and what this might mean for the conflict going forward. The strike reportedly targeted a strategic crossing that Russia relied on heavily. According to early assessments, explosive drones or long-range missiles were responsible for the attack. Ukraine has increasingly used these methods as a way to hit targets deep inside Russian-controlled areas. While not every detail has been officially confirmed, satellite images and independent sources suggest the bridge sustained significant damage, possibly enough to hinder its immediate use. For Ukraine, disrupting logistics routes is a way to slow down military support headed toward frontline regions. Such tactics don't win wars overnight, but they add pressure, weaken supply chains, and force Russia to redirect resources. What makes this event particularly important is timing. Both countries are preparing for seasonal shifts in battlefield conditions. If Russia cannot transport equipment efficiently, it may face delays in reinforcing key positions. Analysts believe that even temporary disruption could have ripple effects on weapon deliveries, ammunition transport, and troop rotation. Ukraine has been focusing on deeper strikes to reduce the advantage that Russia holds in heavy weaponry and industrial support. Taking away infrastructure that acts like arteries in a war effort can be just as damaging as hitting frontline positions. This attack also highlights the evolving technology and strategies being used. Ukraine has received support, intelligence, and equipment from Western allies, and some of that technology is capable of reaching long distances. Meanwhile, Russia has improved its air defenses, but no system is perfect. Explosive drones are relatively cheap and can be launched in large numbers, making them difficult to intercept. There's an ongoing technological arms race in this conflict, with both sides learning from every strike. As news of the damaged bridge spread, officials in Russia publicly condemned what they called an act of terrorism, promising retaliation. Russian military spokespeople stated that air defenses intercepted several incoming objects, but acknowledged that at least one hit occurred. Upgraded security on infrastructure is now expected, and Russia may shift valuable resources to protect bridges, railways, and depots. This could pull assets away from the actual front lines, creating new weaknesses. For Ukraine, simply forcing Russia to adjust strategy could be seen as a victory. On the Ukrainian side, officials have not always directly claimed responsibility, but they hinted that any supply route aiding the invasion is a legitimate target. This messaging aligns with Ukraine's broader strategy: strike where it counts, limit Russia's ability to sustain long-term operations, and show that critical infrastructure deep beyond frontline zones is vulnerable. This is meant to send a psychological message as well. Russian civilians far from the battlefield may begin to feel the pressure, raising questions about the war's cost and duration. International reactions have been mixed. Western nations continue to emphasize Ukraine's right to defend itself. They argue that infrastructure used for military purposes is a fair target under international law. On the other hand, some countries warn that deeper strikes into Russia risk escalation. Diplomats fear that each new incident pushes the conflict further into unpredictability. Global markets, especially for energy, tend to react nervously whenever new pressure arises in the region. Even a single blown bridge can have consequences far outside Eastern Europe. The humanitarian angle cannot be ignored. Bridges are not just military assets. They also support civilian movement, commerce, and regional stability. If civilians rely on that route for work, goods, or emergency transport, local communities could suffer. War always affects ordinary people most severely. While the intention may be to hurt military logistics, unintended consequences are inevitable. Human rights organizations will keep a close watch on whether this disruption leads to shortages of essential supplies in nearby areas. There's also debate among military experts about long-term value. Damaging infrastructure can slow an army temporarily, but repairs can be made. Russia has a history of quickly rebuilding bridges or installing temporary pontoon structures. If repairs are completed fast, the strike's impact may fade. Ukraine, therefore, may continue trying to ensure that repeatedly targeting infrastructure becomes costly, forcing Russia to spend time, money, and manpower. Every ruble spent on repairs is a ruble not spent on weapons. Meanwhile, Ukrainian morale may be boosted by showcasing their ability to hit strategic targets. After months of slow progress on land, news like this can energize soldiers and civilians. Propaganda and public opinion play huge roles in prolonged conflict. On the Russian side, morale could be shaken, especially if more attacks penetrate deeper into territory previously thought safe. Citizens may ask how secure their infrastructure truly is. Looking ahead, this attack might encourage Russia to harden logistics routes by shifting supplies onto routes that are harder to target. They may also increase air defenses around bridges, depots, and railway hubs. But with so many routes to protect, some will inevitably remain vulnerable. Meanwhile, Ukraine will likely continue adjusting its tactics if it senses momentum. It's an ongoing chess match, with both sides trying to predict the other's next move. Another layer to consider is diplomacy. Major nations watching this situation may use the attack as leverage in ongoing negotiations or discussions about future support. If Ukraine proves capable of disrupting Russian supply lines repeatedly, some allies may feel that military aid is yielding noticeable results. Others may worry that deep strikes push the conflict into a space where diplomacy becomes more difficult. At the same time, Russia may appeal to its partners and state that such strikes justify continued aggression. Economic consequences are also possible. Every hit to infrastructure increases the cost of war. Repairing a bridge is expensive. Rerouting supplies costs fuel, vehicles, and time. Disruptions also affect businesses that depend on stable transport networks. If the conflict drags into more infrastructure warfare, broader industries could feel the strain, particularly agriculture, energy, manufacturing, and regional trade. It's important to note that information in wartime can be contradictory. Both sides release statements shaped by propaganda goals. Independent verification takes time. Satellite imagery, eyewitness reports, and third-party analysis will give clearer updates in coming days. For now, the damage appears significant enough to generate headlines, military concern, and political responses. What's clear is that this conflict shows no signs of slowing down. Attacks on key infrastructure represent a shift from limited border engagements to strategic disruption deeper behind enemy lines. As Ukraine grows more confident in its long-range capabilities and Russia invests heavily in defense and retaliation, the battlefield continues to evolve. Each move rewrites the rules of engagement. Civilians are left hoping that escalation does not move further into populated regions. Ultimately, the strike on this Russian bridge is more than a single event. It's a symbol of the ongoing struggle, the adaptation of modern warfare, and the increasing complexity of this conflict. It reflects the determination of Ukraine to weaken Russia's logistical backbone and Russia's challenge of protecting vast territory and infrastructure. The coming weeks will reveal whether this disruption is a temporary setback or part of a broader pattern that changes momentum. As always, everyone watching this situation should follow credible sources. Stay cautious about unverified claims and remember the human cost behind military headlines. We'll continue monitoring any updates, including repair progress, military responses, and diplomatic reactions. For now, that's the latest on this significant strike and its implications for the conflict ahead. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and take care.